Good Sunday morning, everyone. This is Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. And Sunday, July 16th? 15th? 16th. And as promised, I want to do a very early season look, a way too early season look at the Elmira River Sharks. Now, the reason why I'm looking at them is because they have more players signed than most teams actually right now. Surprisingly, the team with the most players signed for this upcoming season is the Whitville Hoosiers. But Elmira has been very active and very aggressive in how they've been handling things this upcoming season. So I want to take a look at them, and I may be looking at Watertown next week. They've also signed quite a few of their players. So anyway, the reason why I want to look at Elmira is Elmira has been a very compelling story this year. Starting with the Steve Donner era Mammoth Sports Entertainment, the Elmira Mammoth. Things were very intriguing with them since day one. Since when Donner announced the Mammoth, and it was really quite the drawn out drama, unfortunately. So Donner brings in the Mammoth, and Elmira returns to the Fed. Of course, the enforcers were there for 3 years. And Elmira has always been a very coveted market for the FPHL. You look at the size of the city and the community and the arena, it really was a perfect fit for the FPHL. It just didn't work out long term for the enforcers, even though they were very successful on the ice and at the gate. But the Mammoth were not able to reproduce that success, struggled to draw people, struggled to get players signed. Donner's first goal was to try and sign a lot of former enforcers, was only able to get a couple. So we go on, they have the horrible start, 0-9-1 in their first 10. It made a few roster moves. The team was making moves every week during the season, it seemed. And the team did improve, but not tremendously, not enough. And then the money issues started. And we got to the point where the CCIDA evicted Mammoth, and that was that. So Don Kiernan, president of the FPHL, steps in, brokers a deal with the CCIDA, and the River Sharks are born. Now, a lot of people had a little bit of a point of view that they posted on social media, and I get it. I understand it. This is a league-owned team. They're going to get all sorts of favorable calls from the officials. Watch them go on the fast track to the playoffs. Well, okay. Now the River Sharks. I'm looking at things here, and I'm thinking there's absolutely no reason whatsoever that they shouldn't make the playoffs. Should be a contender for potentially even an Umpire Division title. But it's not because Don Kiernan owns the team. It's because he looked at Elmira and said, this is a great market. We need to stay here. We just need to build the value of the franchise up, because right now it's not very high. So first thing he does, brilliant move, announces Tyler Jurich as a head coach. And Jurich is going to draw a lot of people. A lot of people are going to say, hey, I'm interested in playing for Elmira because the all-time leading goal scorer in FBHL history is the coach there. That kind of draws in some success. So you have George in place. You start signing some players. Yeah, some of the players that were here last year with the Mammoth are back, and people are thinking, well, we didn't do very well. Why are we signing so many former players? A lot of these players were brought in either later on in the season, or they were kind of the building blocks for this club. So the players that have re-signed are definitely good, decent players. And then, of course, they made the big splash during the dispersal draft of Delaware and picked up probably 3 of the best players that Delaware had. So, yeah, they really pulled off a coup there. Just very smart picks, and they kind of got their big 3. If you think about some of the successful teams in the NHL, you start with a core. Like a number of years ago, Pittsburgh, it was Crosby and Letang and Fleury. You had kind of a big 3, and that kind of got borrowed from the Dallas Cowboys of the early 90s. You had your big 3 stars, and it's like everything else kind of flowed around it. Well, I think Elmira got their big 3 from Delaware with Spencer Kozlowski in goal, and Rasmus Asp on the blue line, and Marquise Grant-Mentis. I think they really helped themselves out there. So now the value is high. You've taken something and you've improved it, and now the value is much higher. So now you can continue to re-sign some players and fill in the gaps. But they're not looking to be the central pieces. So I think that's very key. So anyway, we look at what we have now. This is kind of like a potential lineup. Now, what I did is the players that are in red are not yet signed, but I don't see any reason why they would not. So obviously, the 3 players picked up from Delaware, none of them is signed. But I think with George as coach and the change in culture that's come in, obviously a lot more people want to play in Elmira now, whereas maybe that wasn't the case so much last year. So in goal, you have Wizard of Kaz, Spencer Kozlowski, and Danik Rodriguez, who is signed. Both players had tremendous seasons last year. Kaz playing for a very not so good overall Delaware team. Had wonderful numbers, 4 wins, an .897 save percentage, had 4 games in which he made at least 50 saves. Danik Rodriguez came over in a trade with Port Huron and was very solid, backing up Thomas Proudluck. Rodriguez went 7-7, a .902 save percentage. Now, Proudluck and White, are they coming back? Well, that remains to be seen. Remember, they can only have 2 goaltenders on the active roster on opening day. So, last I had heard, Proudluck was looking at trying to secure a job in either the SP or even the ECHL. So, my inclination is that Proudluck will probably not return, but not because it's Elmira. It's just because this is the next thing for his career. Harley White, he's been around the league for 4 years now. Has proven himself a very capable goaltender, but is there room for him? hard to say. I mean, just on paper, myself, I would go, and this is not a diss to Harley White, but I would tend to go with Kozlowski and Rodriguez before I would go with White. But that's me. Again, that's no disrespect meant to Harley White. I'm sure he's going to find himself work somewhere and be a very active part of whatever club. On defense, you got the newly traded for Cam Yarwood. Yeah, he's going to play. Yes, his primary duty is the assistant coach of the Impact, the junior team. But he's going to be playing for his buddy Tyler Jurich. They've been together for a number of years now. You pair him with Nathan Campbell. Not only do you have two players that can score well, but they can also defend well. Yarwood, 183 games in the Fed, 163 points. He's a plus 79 in his career. Campbell, 110 games played. He's got 76 points and over 300 shots on goal. So he likes to jump in the action. But he doesn't neglect his defensive duties either. The second pairing, you have Rasmus Asp and Eric Oganezov. They played together last year in Delaware. I think they would be a good pairing because they are familiar with each other. Asp is a big physical presence. Oganezov is a puck mover who can work the power play. In the third pairing, you have Stephen Ford, who really impressed in the few games that he played after graduating college last year. I think he's going to get a lot more time. And if you put him with somebody, an older person with a lot of experience like Schmidt, I think you got a good pairing there. And you also have Tim O'Connor, who signed. He's also a stay-at-home defenseman. So we don't know what's going to happen as far as if Blake Cudmore or Jim Jensen are going to get re-signed. Hard to say. The forward group, this is where you make the money because they're the ones putting the biscuit in the basket. First line, okay, Luke Richards and Tristan Mock are already signed. They played together in Danbury. They played together on the line in Elmira, performed very well with each other. Richards ended up leading the team in scoring. Mock was great on a penalty kill. He's a great speedster, sets up a lot of plays. And then if you add Grant Mentis with them, 45 games played, 47 points, that's a lot of offense there. Second pairing right now, I see you could have Nick Golo in the middle. He chipped in 37 points in 43 games. Put him together with Tate Leeson and Joshua Sanchez, excuse me. Again, a lot of activity is possible there. Now, those three need to be re-signed. Those are, I think, the three big priorities right now for Elmira. Get them re-signed. You get yourself a line intact. You're golden. Third combination, the new guy on the block, Ryan Fritz, 131 points and 38 games played in the GMHL. Yeah, he's ready. He is ready. A lot of GMHL players have proven they're ready for the Fed. You pair him up with like Jelenskis and Soilis. Soilis loves to shoot the puck. 129 games played, 317 shots on goal, 84 points. Jelenskis, he's a good grinder, chipper, gets a clutch goal here and there, so that could be really good. And then you have support players like Gino D'Angelo and Thomas McGuire. Now, I know McGuire is listed as a defenseman, but I see him participating on the offensive side of the puck a lot more than the defensive. So I group him down there. But you look at this, and on paper or on whiteboard, this is a really solid group, and it's a good club. So let me know what you think. What do you think is going to happen with Elmira this year? Leave a comment down below. Also, hit like and subscribe. And remember, we will be back tomorrow with another video. I'm going to do a video on making some awards for Fed players. So tune in for that. Thanks for watching. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.